When you buy a home, everything that's original to that home that you want to replace, the heating and air conditioning system is going to be one of the top as far as your investment to replace it. So if it's time to replace your system, when you call and you get estimates, if that contractor does not do a heat load calculation, do not do business with them. Why do I need a heat load calculation if I'm installing a new HVAC system? Here's why. One, it's a best practice. Two, in the state of California and other states, it's required. Three, you're replacing your system. A lot of things could have changed that would affect the size of the system. Why would it affect the size of the system? Why would things change? Well, there's a lot of reasons. You tinted your windows, you added a remodel, and believe me, you're gonna think, well, wouldn't that be taken care of as part of the remodel? No, we see it all the time where somebody extends a room or does something and they just duct off of the original system and don't take that into account. You could have more appliances in the home than you had before, be doing more laundry, have more people living in the home. There's a lot of reasons. The number one reason is your system wasn't sized right to begin with. What do you mean my system wasn't sized right to begin with? How could that be? When they built the home, they should have sized it, correct? They should have, but it's pretty common for systems to be oversized. Sometimes they're undersized. Traditionally, we tend to see them oversized. An undersized system is not good for your home. It has to work harder and longer to cool your home. It won't properly cool it, and it'll run up your utility bills, and it will struggle. Oversized system is just as bad. It will do something we call short cycling, meaning it will run, it'll bring the temperature down because it's oversized quickly, and then shut off. Well, wasn't that great? No, because one of the things your air conditioning system does is remove the humidity from the air. See, an air conditioning and heating system do not just heat and cool the air, they create comfort. And in the cooling season, they create comfort by removing humidity from the air. And if it's short cycling, you're not going to get that humidity out of the air. And it's not good for your system. So if it's time to replace your system, when you call and you get estimates, if that contractor does not do a heat load calculation, do not do business with them. If they want to just replace the system like for like, do not do business with them. Are they a bad company? No, probably not. I would have no idea who they are. But they're skipping a critical step in the process. They're not confirming that the current size you have is the appropriate size and ensuring that the system's oversized. And maybe we can go down half a ton. We've seen situations where we can go down a whole ton of air, and that saves you money. And we've seen systems where it's undersized, and we have to go up half a ton or a ton. But you don't know if you don't measure, if you don't perform the heat load calc. And when we do a heat load calc, things that are taken into consideration is obviously the square footage of the home, right? But also, what's the insulation? What's the R value of the wall insulation? What's the R value of the attic insulation? Where are the ducts located? Are they in a basement? Are they in a crawl space? Are they in an attic? What's the square footage of windows? And where are the windows located? Which direction does the house face? See, this is all critical information that has to be collected, calculated to determine the proper BTUs needed to heat and cool your home. And one of the elements that's used in that calculation is where do you live? Obviously, somebody living in Southern California in the desert is going to have a different outdoor air temperature range than somebody living in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? So all of that is taken into consideration. Make sure you get a heat load calculation. Make sure they explain it to you. Make sure you understand it. And if you are dealing with somebody who is not familiar with that or will not do one or does not do one or says it's not needed, I'd just be very cautious about that because it is needed and it is a critical component of replacing your HVAC system. And my question would be, if that step is being missed, what other steps are they missing? What other steps are they intentionally or unintentionally leaving out? Remember, this is your heating and air conditioning system. This is one of the most expensive things you're going to have to replace in your home. The other one maybe being the roof, right? Sure, you put in a swimming pool, you put on an addition, they can be very expensive. But I'm talking about when you buy a home, everything that's original to that home that you want to replace, the heating and air conditioning system is going to be one of the top as far as your investment to replace it. So when you do it, make sure you're doing it by a licensed contractor. Make sure they're doing all the proper steps. HVAC is considered an applied product, and that means that even though it's a standard system, 4-ton, whatever sizes for your home, and they all come off the same assembly line, they are all basically installed in a way that is specific to your home and your heat load calculation. So always take those things into consideration when it comes time to find a contractor to handle your replacement.